Hi everyone, a very good morning to all of you. Today is 23rd of February and I welcome you all to the Hindu newspaper analysis discussion. So guys, in this particular session, we are going to discuss the entire analysis of Hindu newspaper. Along with the Hindu, we are also going to take articles from the other important sources also. For example, Indian Express, PIB, etc. In this particular session, we are going to see the articles specifically for mains examination. We are going to see the articles for the prelims examination and one mapping article also we are going to see, that is the Amazon rainforest. Also, apart from these particular articles, we are going to see one particular quotation for the essay and answer writing. And also, guys, we are also taking up the current affair based MCQ questions for the practice. Now, these MCQ questions are framed out of content that we have already seen in our current affair. And to attempt these particular questions, you can visit Telegram channel, because in Telegram, just in a quiz manner, you can attempt these particular questions. So that is about it. And also, guys, this entire file is also available for a download at our Telegram channel. Link for Telegram is given in the description box in YouTube. Now let's get started, and let's first take the quotation for essay and answer writing today. Now, today we are going to take the quotation from Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Dr. Ambedkar says that I like the religion that teaches liberty, equality, and fraternity. So, basically, when we talk about, guys, religion, even Gandhiji has equated that religion is nothing but the code of morality. Code of morality. And no morality is complete without giving the essential liberty, equality, and fraternity. In fact, religion should promote the fraternity. Okay, so this is about the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's conception of religion. You can use this particular idea in GS paper number 4 ethics, as well as in GS paper number 1 social issues and essay. You can use it. So that is about it. And now let's move and let's take the first article for the today. Okay, so the first article that, guys, we are going to take is on the UK India strategic ties. UK India strategic ties. This particular article we are going to see with respect to GS paper number 2 international relation, within Indian international relation, India UK relations. We are going to take this particular article. Now, guys, when we talk about this particular article, first of all, I would like to tell you certain basic things. This particular article, it is written by Admiral Sir Ben Key, who is the first Sea Lord and the Chief of Navy Staff, Royal Navy. The way the article has been written, it is very flowery language, fine, that has been used here. Fine, and a lot of aspirants might find a problem in making sense of the kind of a language that has been used. Okay, fine. Some of you might face such kind of a problem. So what I have done, I have reformulated this particular entire article in very simple, easy to understand language. Also, guys, one more thing, guys, I want to tell you that actually what we are doing, we are experimenting with this mind maps also for the articles, where we are going to divide entire article in just key points, so that you can further, they can help you in retention or effective revision. If you will like this, we will continue with it. Otherwise, no issues. So just let us know that what are your views on this particular and this particular new reform that we are bringing. So let's get started with this particular article. So, guys, entire detailed article is also provided here. You can see in the text form, and one mind map on that same article is also provided. So let's see this thing. Now, when we talk about, guys, India UK relations, when we talk about India UK relations, now what are the core issues between the India UK relations? First is there is the global maritime trade connection that is between the India and UK. Now we see this particular thing that through Red Sea, through Suez, and then through Mediterranean Sea. Okay, the consignments of the goods, they are coming from UK to India and from India to UK. So there is a robust global maritime trade connection between two countries. As there is this global maritime trade connection, and both the countries are economic trade partners of each other, so there is very much essential. So there is a kind of reliance on these maritime routes, and it is essential that we should secure the flow of goods, resources through these particular maritime routes. But right now we see that these maritime routes, they are facing a kind of a challenge. They are facing a kind of a challenge at the sea. What challenge they are facing? So we see this particular thing that right now Houthis, right now what has happened, Houthis, they have started attacking the ships which are passing from the Red Sea. So international norms of freedom of navigation, it is getting impacted by the Houthis. These Houthis are based in the Yemen, and from there they are targeting these particular ships. So basically, what has happened? Operation Prosperity Guardian got started. Operation sorry, Operation Prosperity Guardian got started. This Operation Prosperity Guardian, it is led by the USA. UK is also a partner. And through this Operation Prosperity Guardian, they are trying to regulate the freedom of navigation, and they are trying to counter these Houthis' terror in the Red Sea area. Also, this particular thing will lead to the successful protection of the maritime routes. Also, guys, the article provides that UK is actively supporting the cause of Ukraine. So, right now we already know this particular thing, that Ukraine Russia war is going on. Now in this Ukraine Russia war, UK says that Russia has broken the international law by showing aggression against the Russia. Okay, so therefore now UK is supporting the Russia. Okay, and by that also they're saying that they are trying to uphold the international law. Then the next thing that comes here is that UK, they have officially shifted their foreign policy focus to the Indo-Asia Pacific region. Indo-Asia Pacific region. And in this particular capacity, a very concrete change has come around 2020. Now, as UK is focusing on Indo-Asia Pacific region, what is happening in UK is trying to deepen the defense partnership with the India also. Defense partnership with the India also. So this is the UK's viewpoint with respect to the India, as narrated by the Admiral Sir Ben Key. Now, what are the further way forward suggestions that are needed to be implemented to ensure that India-UK relations thrives further? India-UK relation thrives further. Number one, number one, there is a need to strengthen the UK-India strategic ties even more. Okay. Now, guys, first of all, understand this thing, that as we talk about the India and the UK, we are trying to negotiate the free trade investment agreement for so many of the years, but up till now it has not got finalized. So basically that particular thing will also further empower the strategic ties. Okay, so on the free trade front, ties are needed to be strengthened. Then on joint protection of maritime trade routes, the agreement can be signed between the India and UK, and both countries should uphold rule based international order, which actually India is already doing it. Okay, then the next thing that comes here is that expanding defense partnership. Okay, so basically there needs to be the increased naval cooperation. Now when we talk about the UK has a naval might and has been an experienced player um, in the development of the aircraft carriers. So there UK can transfer a lot of technologies to the India. Shared military education and technological collaboration can be done. So basically DRDO of India can collaborate with the UK for technology. Okay, military education can be there. Okay, exercises can be there. Then after that, like-minded partnerships like India and UK, both are the democracies, both uphold the rule based orders. So such partnership is important, and then other countries should also be searched which have such like-mindedness. Okay, and with that partnership needs to be done. Okay, so already we have discussed this particular thing. Fine. Okay, so I hope guys that you have understood. I hope that you have understood. So this is guys all about the article for the today, and now moving to the next article. Okay, the next frontier. Okay, now this particular article guys talks about the recent liberalization of space sector that has been carried by the government. We are going to see this particular article with respect to GS paper number 3. GS paper number 3, issues related to science and technology, liberalization of Indian economy. We are going to see this particular article. Okay, now let's take that. So basically, guys, what has happened? What has happened? First of all, let me give you the context that why this particular article has come right now. So just day before yesterday, on 21st of the February, government has announced that they are allowing 100% FDI, foreign direct investment, in the space sector. And by that, they have further opened up the space sector, whose journey started way back in 2020. Okay. So basically, in this particular article, we are going to see that how India's space sector has got liberalized, how India's space sector is being opened up for private players, for startups, and now for foreign direct investments. Okay. Now, this particular shift of opening the space sector from government control to the private players shows that now government is relooking its private sector. Okay. And government is also trying to ensure the competitiveness of its space sector. Okay. Now, moving on. As we talk about the reforms that has been taken by the government in the direction of the space sector, in 2020, first of all, what happened, you already might be knowing that the government came out with the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. And under this particular Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, for the first time, space sector was got space sector got liberalized. So first happened, space sector got opened up for the private entities. So how that particular thing had happened? Number one, geospatial guidelines were released for the private sector. What is geospatial guidelines? So geospatial means collecting the data on the basis of collecting the geographical data, collecting the data of geographical contours, heights, etc. Okay, so geospatial map. For example, we are making a topographic map in which we show that okay, this is the mountain region, this is the valley region. Okay, there are certain maps which are just for indicative purposes, but making the detailed map. Okay, that is the geospatial mapping. Now, guys, understand this particular thing that we have a lot of disputed areas around the Ladakh. We have fine POK is a POK is India's territory illegally captured by the Pakistan. Okay, and many boundaries are there which are disputed. So basically, the point is there that often we have not allowed the private sector to collect the information about these particular areas to create a geographical topographic map of these particular areas. But now we have come out with the geospatial guidelines and are allowing the private companies to create the geospatial maps. Then second, what happened? Indian space policy was launched, which was a detailed plan that how private sector will be brought in the space. Then there was the Indian National Space Promotion and Authorization Center in space. So in space was a dedicated agency which will be facilitating the entry of startups in the space exploration on limited basis. Then what happened? Then what happened? The Telecommunication Act 2023 also came where the private sector's role was increased. Then now what has happened just 2 days back, FDI in space sector. So Indian government has allowed 100% foreign direct investment for the manufacturing of satellite components and systems. There are certain components within the satellite where there are some caps, but other satellite components, if that manufacturing is to be done, then 100% FDI is allowed. 100% foreign direct investment is allowed. Okay. Now, also guys, understand this particular thing that also we are promoting the manufacturing of launch vehicles by the private player, space ports, fine the systems components. Now we understand this particular thing, guys, that actually when we talk about the China already allows the private sector participation in space. And because of that particular thing, also China allows FDI in the space sector. And because of that, a lot of foreign startups, they have went to China, they have invested heavily in the China. But now India is also opening up the 100% FDI in the space sector. Now, guys, understand this particular thing that India will always be more favorable compared to the China. Why? It is because of the fact that, see, first of all, India does not follows the aggressive foreign policy that China follows, which actually is deterring the foreign investment for the China. Now you see, China's equation with USA is not good. China's equation with the Western countries is not good because of their aggressive foreign policy. So what is happening? It deters the investors. But India's foreign policy is very much accommodative. So therefore, India will be more suitable partner. Also, guys, understand this particular thing that civilian technologies that have been developed by the startups in China, they are using it for military purpose. So therefore, foreign countries are very much apprehensive to send their investors in the China. But India never does that. So therefore, India is going to be a very important and meaningful partner for the startups who are looking for the space exploration in India. Okay, so this is going to be a very important thing. Also, guys, understand this particular thing that we find that $37.1 billion funding has been raised by the space sector in 21 to 23. Okay, so $37 billion in the funding has been raised by the startups which are in space sector, and such startups can come to India, can bring their investment, and by that particular thing, what can happen? It can help India's startups. It can help India's startups because see, let's say SpaceX wants to comes to India, Elon Musk's company. So obviously they will be taking the help of the other startups also. Is it clear or not? So that is something which India can help. Also, guys, India can promote the upstream and downstream activities, local manufacturing, connecting them to the suppliers. Okay, all these things is there. But there are certain more things that needed to be focused immediately. Number one, there needs to be more regulatory clarity with respect to the space sector. Still, the detailed information has not come out come out. That is to be provided. Also, government must maintain a clear and favorable regulatory environment. Okay, for the in the favor of the private sectors, bureaucratization, etc., should not happen that much. International collaboration. So basically, we should come out with the systems where the startups in India should be able to collaborate with the foreign markets, foreign governments, foreign space agencies. That side type of system should be provided. Then the balanced development. Okay, so basically manufacturing and application both are to be balanced. Both are to be balanced. Fine. So that is all, guys, about this particular article. And now we are going to move to the next article. Okay, so the entire summary of the article that I have discussed here, I have provided here. For example, just to show you, government reforms, opening space sector to private in 2020, geospatial guidelines then came, then in space came, okay, Telecommunication Act 2023 came. Then what happened? Now 100% FD. So all this entire information I have provided here. You can just see that. So that is all about it. And now moving to the next article. The women of ASHA. The women of ASHA overworked, underpaid, and on the edge of breakdown. Okay. Now, this particular article, guys, is actually talking about the immediate reforms that are needed to improve the working condition of ASHA workers. Now, this particular article, again, we have taken from the Hindu newspaper science section. Now, this particular article we are going to see with respect to GS paper number 2, issues related to health. GS paper number 2, issues related to the health, social justice. Issues related to the health, social justice. Now, moving on. So basically, when we talk about, guys, ASHA, ASHA stands for Accredited Social Health Activist. Accredited Social Health Activist. And they are very important pillar of rural health. They are very important pillar of rural health. ASHA workers have also played a very important role during the COVID pandemic. Okay, ASHA workers has also played a very important role during the COVID pandemic. But guys, when we talk about the ASHA workers, okay, they have not been remunerated enough. Their efforts have not been that much recognized. Now, first of all, when we talk about the working of the ASHA workers, so what the ASHA workers do? Okay, what the ASHA workers do? So basically, guys, when we talk about the ASHA workers, so they play a very important role. For example, in nudging the women for reproduct, basically, they play a very important role in nudging the women with respect to, just a minute. Okay, fine. So ASHA workers, what they do, they nudge women with respect to reproductive health, with respect to the reproductive health. They provide much needed information to they provide much needed information to the women with respect to nutrition, with respect to nutrition. If women are trying to, or women are planning the pregnancy, then important pregnancy related information will be given to the women, that how they need to take care of their physical health, how they need to ensure the adequate nutrition. They also ensure effective immunization. They also ensure the effective immunization. Okay, then what they need, what they do, they help in providing the information about the sexually transmitted infections. Fine, reproductive health. Fine, basic information about the contraceptives, basic information about the contraceptive. All these particular information are provided by the ASHA workers. So ASHA workers, therefore, are very important part in the rural health, even in rural family planning, because they provide the information about contraceptives. ASHA workers play a very important role. Now, when we talk about the, guys, ideas of ASHA workers, this particular idea originated from the Mitanin program in Chhattisgarh in 2002, where the women were designated as the community health workers to bridge the gap between the underprivileged communities and the healthcare services. You might be knowing that a lot of areas are there in Chhattisgarh where the health infrastructure is not much developed, largely because of the Maoist insurgency that has been there in the past. So, because of this particular issue, what happened? Often the health services were not able to reach the underprivileged section of society. So, ASHA workers acted as a bridge in between. Now, guys, when we talk about the ASHA workers' status today, when we talk about the ASHA workers' status today, we find this particular thing that right now there are more than 10 lakh ASHA workers that are there, and they are the part of the healthcare system. They tried to enhance the efficacy of the healthcare system, but at the same time, what happens? There is the burden of there is a triple shift burden that the ASHA workers are facing. Now, what is this triple shift burden? Number one, number one, they have to balance their home. They themselves are the mothers, wives, okay, fine, daughter-in-laws. So they have to balance their home responsibilities. Now, often, guys, when we talk about India, we find this particular thing that women's important role is the domestic role. Women's important role, it is perceived as the domestic role. Care responsibilities are believed to be their most important responsibilities. So they have to manage their own domestic responsibilities. At the same time, they have certain responsibility towards the community. I told you, they will make women aware about reproductive health, about the nutritional needs, uh, breastfeeding practices. They are going to educate women with respect to. Then after that, there are the health center responsibilities. Okay, so they are designated with the health center. So with respect to that, there are also certain responsibilities that are there. Now, because of this particular triple shift, they are working in three shift: home duties, community duties, and health center duties. Because of this triple shift, what happens? They develops the burden on three fronts: poor nutrition, they themselves are not properly nourished; sleep deprivation, and they themselves have increased health risks, okay, because of not getting time to take care of themselves. Also, guys, we find this particular thing that there is limited autonomy given to ASHA workers, and there are the systemic undervaluation of their work. We find this particular thing, guys, that often in the rural areas there are the gender hierarchies, caste hierarchies that are there, economic inequalities that are there. Now, understand this thing that these ASHA workers, most of the time, they are not very affluent women. Okay, so because of their poor economic status, often they can be both from the low caste, and as they are the women, so these three things, what actually does it? Basically, it exaggerates the concerns for the ASHA workers. So because of that, their undervaluation happens often, because if they are from the low caste, their services will not be desired. If they are women, often the attitude towards towards them might not be good, and as because they are not from affluent section of society, again they might their views might not be given that much importance. Okay, then guys, after that, there are the ASHA workers who are facing the economical, physical, and psychological challenges. Now, what are these economical, physical, and psychological challenges? Number one, delayed wages. Now, first of all, remuneration of ASHA workers have been way less. Even that particular remuneration gets delayed, so delayed wages are there. Out of pocket expenses, okay. Then lack of formal worker status, okay. And because they don't have not been given the formal worker status, often social security benefits that are available to the other government workers, find pension benefits, etc., that are there, they don't get it, okay, fine. But at the same time, they are facing all these challenges. They play a crucial role in healthcare, maternal health, child health, vaccination, mental health support, etc. Now, basically, guys, what government needs to do in order to improve the working condition of the ASHAs? What government do? First of all, already, guys, government has taken certain initiatives. What initiatives government has taken? Government is providing them the free health insurance, okay. Under Ayushman Bharat Abhiyan, also the insurance benefits, health benefit are being provided to them. Then ASHA benefit package has been designed by the government, which provides them the health as well as economic benefit. Now, guys, apart from that, also, what for something more needs to be done. Something more needs to be done. What is more needed to be done? Number one, there is a need for the formal recognition of ASHA workers as the government employees. And on that particular basis, pay scale recommendations, on the basis of the pay scales, they need to be given the wages. there is a case of improving their wages, and they should have the defined working hours. Often they are overworked. Often they are overworked. Okay, so there needs to be having the defined working hours, and then give them the access to maternity leaves. So basically, guys, already government has come out with the Maternity Benefit Act 2017, where 6 months of paid maternity leave is to be provided to the women. But often the ASHA workers don't have access to these maternity leaves. Give them pensions, protection against the hazards. For example, COVID pandemic, ASHA workers were working as the front line workers, but there was no mechanism to protect them if in case they got infected. So give them insurance protection against the hazards. Okay, then if the asha's well-being is very important, because if the ashas are well-being, if ashas are, if ashas are healthy, if ashas are working with their soul and spirit, it will have direct impact on the healthcare access outcome. Is it clear or not? Then there is the need for bite the bullet for reforms: full worker status, decent pay, adequate care. These are all the things that have to be focused on the for the asha workers. So that is all, guys, about it. I hope that you have understood, and whatever we I have discussed here in this particular flowchart, all the information has been provided here in the text form also. All the information has been provided here in the text form also. So please download the synoptic notes and you will be able to use it. So that is all about it. And now moving to next article. Should India have regional benches of the Supreme Court? Should India have the regional benches of Supreme Court? Now, this particular article we are going to see with respect to GS paper number 2, issues related to judiciary. Issues related to judiciary. So basically, guys, what has happened? What has happened? There is an ongoing debate on establishing the regional benches of the Supreme Court. Right now, guys, we know that the bench of Supreme Court is in Delhi, and often people say that people from often there are the complaints that people from the deep south, people from west, people from east, people from northeast, they are not able to come to Delhi because it is very distant for them, and therefore it is being said that this is a kind of a justice denied. So therefore it is being said that the regional benches of Supreme Court should be opened up. For example, open one bench of Supreme Court in Chennai, open one bench of Supreme Court in West Bengal, open one bench of Supreme Court in Mumbai. Likewise, regional benches should be opened up. So basically, guys, what has happened? Recently, in fact, recently, what has happened? The Parliamentary Standing Committee on Personal Public Grievances, Law and Justice. It has also informed the Lok Sabha that the Law Ministry has accepted the recommendation to establish regional benches of Supreme Court across the India. Supreme Court across the India. Fine. However, at the same time, Supreme Court is rejecting this particular idea. Okay, Supreme Court is not allowing it, but the Parliamentary Standing Committee has accepted that we are going to establish it. So what we need to see, we guys simply need to see we simply need to see arguments for establishing the regional benches. Okay, arguments against establishing the regional benches. What can be the alternative solution? What can be the alternative solution? So first, let's see that the arguments for establishing the regional benches. Arguments for establishing the regional benches. Number one, it will bring the accessibility and equity. Now today, people from south, west, east, northeast are not able to come to Delhi for every hearing for the Supreme Court. Therefore, they don't file the cases in the Supreme Court. So accessibility today is restricted, but building these regional benches will give accessibility. It will also ensure the equity. It will reduce the barriers for individuals from distant states. Okay, so understand, right now the people from North India, they are more privileged because Supreme Court is in their vicinity. So when there will be the regional benches, it will reduce this particular preference or privilege status of the north. The next, judicial efficiency. So basically, guys, today judiciary is overburdened. There are so many cases that are locked up in the Supreme Court, but if there will be the regional benches, what will be done? So now all the cases are being filed at Delhi from the different parts of country. Now if there will be the regional benches, the workload on the Supreme Court in Delhi will come down, as it will be diffused across the regional benches, and judiciary will become more efficient. So dispersed workload, judiciary will become more efficient, and it will reduce the backlog of the cases. So the citizens will also be able to get the swift justice. Then next, it will open up the opportunity for lawyers. Now, guys, only the lawyers based in Delhi can do practice at the Supreme Court. What about the other lawyers in the other parts of the countries? So it will also give the opportunities to the lawyers in other parts of the country that they can get exposure at Supreme Court. So in a way, it will democratize the legal profession, will give opportunities, and also it will help in developing legal communities of judges or Supreme Court advocates across the India. Okay. Now guys, understand this particular thing that, see, suppose I am a person living in Chennai. I need to file a case in Supreme Court. I don't find a lawyer in Chennai because the Chennai lawyers might be working here in the local courts, okay, or might be practicing in the Madras High Court. So what I need to do, I need to go to Delhi even just to take the legal opinion. But if the regional benches will be there, advocates will be there, what will be done? It will develop the legal communities whose suggestions I can take. Also guys, what happens, there will be certain arguments against, there are the arguments against that it will lead to problem. Number one, risk of frivolous litigation. Risk of frivolous litigation. Now, guys, often we find this thing that the bogus public interest litigations are filed even in the high courts. So, in Supreme Court, they were not that much. Why? Because people from different parts of the country, they were not able to come Supreme Court every then and now for the just redundant bogus petitions. But as these regional benches will be there, it will increase the frivolous litigation. Stunt cases will be increased. Potential for conflicting precedents. Now, guys, this is a very important point. What can be done? Now, see, today there is one Supreme Court, but when there will be the multiple Supreme Courts, they will give the conflicting judgments, conflicting precedents, which will further increase the problems, increase the problem. Okay, then what can be the alternative solutions? Alternative solution. So alternative solutions, rather than developing the bench, is promoting more virtual hearings. Virtual hearings. Okay. Why you are just going for physical hearing? Virtual hearings. Okay, so a person sitting in Chennai can participate without going physically to Delhi. Court of secession model. Now, court of secession model. So the court of secession model, it is inspired from the France. So basically, what is there? So basically, guys, see, so we can divide courts as a two. One will be the courts of appeal, one will be the courts of appeal, and one will be the courts of secession. So basically, guys, the matter of appeals in the criminal civil courts from the district court to high court and then Supreme Court. So matters of appeal can go to this particular courts of appeal. And this courts of secession will be a dedicated court. It will be a dedicated court which will focus on only the constitutional matters. So there will be a dedicated court to focus on constitutional matters. Non-constitutional matters, the cases of appeal can go to that. So we need to divide the Supreme Court in the courts of appeal and in the court of secession. Secession will just be interpreting the law, fundamental rights, constitution, etc. Then next is high court reforms. Basically, guys, often we find that the high courts are not working efficiently because they are not able to provide the swift justice to the people. There is a frustration and people reach to Supreme Court. So we need to improve the efficiency in high court, improve the judicial infrastructure. Is it clear or not? So this is something by which the reform here in the justice can be brought. That is all about it. I hope that you have understood it. And now moving to the next article. Okay. Pali in court, nine notable cases. Pali in court, nine notable cases. So basically, guys, recently Fali S. Nariman, who was a renowned Indian jurist, a senior advocate, had played a role in very important landmark constitutional cases, has recently passed away. Okay, has recently passed away. He was born in Rangoon in 1929, completed his legal education, law education in Mumbai. So basically, the important cases in which he has participated, that particular list was published here in the Indian Express newspaper, and I have given you here. Now, guys, understand this particular thing that he was honorable. He was a very much renowned advocate. Okay. Now, nine landmark cases. Okay, so just we are going to see an overview of these particular cases. Second judge's cases, second judge's case, third judge's case. Okay, second judge case, third judge case, and even the fourth judge case, that is the case dealing with the National Judicial Appointment Commission. He has participated. Now, guys, basically, second and third judges case are very important in establishing the collegium system for the Supreme Court. Now, guys, today you know that the Supreme Court judges are selected through the collegium of four senior most judges and one Chief Justice of India. So that collegium journey got finalized through the third judge's cases. So with respect to the third judge's cases and even the second judge's cases also, which also discussed about the collegium, Pali Nariman has played an important role. Then guys, fourth judge's case, 2015. What was this fourth judge's case? Basically, actually what happened, government came out with the National Judicial Appointment Commission. Now, National Judicial Appointment Commission was brought as a body to replace collegium. It will suggest the appointment at Supreme Court and the transfer of judges at High Court. Okay. Now this was challenged and Fali Nariman played an important role in that. Finally, National Judicial Appointment Commission was struck down and collegium system, which was finalized through second, third judge's case, it again got reenacted. Then he also played an important role in Golaknath case, which where it was ruled that the parliament cannot curtail the fundamental rights. Okay, so Golaknath case also it played an important role. He played an important role in Bhopal gas tragedy. Fine, and he basically in the matters of the representation of Union Carbide, he played an important he played a role. Then rights of minorities to establish and administer educational institution. So there was a TMA Pi Foundation case which led with respect to the minorities' rights, that how far they can regulate their institutions. So there also he played an important role. Then next, Nibam Rabia case. Nibam Rabia case. So Nibam Rabia case came out with this very important ruling that governor has to act only upon the aid and advice of the Council of Minister. So in Nibam Rabia case 2016, he played an important role. And because of this, what happened? Basically, the Congress government got restored. Then he helped in obtaining bail for Tamil Nadu Chief Minister, former CM uh, Jayalalitha. Kaveri River water dispute, he has played an important role. So these are the cases in which he played a role. So just you need to have a reference about it. Fine. So that is all about it. No need to go too much detail more than that. India is a bridging power in many ways, Jaishankar. So basically, guys, what has happened? Minister of External Affairs S. Jaishankar said that multilateralism would exist side by side with the national interest. And India is a bridge power. India is a bridging power. Okay. Now, guys, understand this particular thing that see that India is helping bridge the different interest. So India is that middle bridge power. Okay. And basically, as Mr. S. Jaishankar said this particular thing, that multilateralism will be there. We will be the participant in the major international platforms and forums, but at the same time, we will not just give away our national interest. Okay, we will be part of the UN systems, but we will not simply follow whatever UN says. We will give importance over national interest. And this is the transactional approach. And this is the transactional approach that India is following since 2020, which can also be referred to as the strategic autonomy. Now, my point, why I am taking this particular article is because, guys, when you are writing the GS paper number 2 answers, IR answers, I want that you use this particular word, that is India is a bridging power, that is bridging the, for example, on one hand there is a West, on other hand there is a Russia. So India is trying to bridge the different interests that have been there in the international politics. India, multilateralism and national interest follows side by side. In multilateral interest and the national interest follows side by side. So these are some of the terminologies that should be used in your answers. So for these two things, I have taken up this particular article. Now, this article is specifically for prelims examination. Rashtriya Udyamita Vikas Pariyojana. So basically, guys, what has happened recently? Union Minister of Education, Skill Development, Entrepreneurship has inaugurated Rashtriya Udyamita Vikas Pariyojana. Now, what is this Rashtriya Udyamita Vikas? This particular scheme is to equip the individuals with respect to entrepreneurship. You might be seeing the Shark Tank India. So government has also got inspired, I think, by the Shark Tank. Don't write it in exam, just to tell you. So basically, under this Rashtriya Udyamita Vikas Pariyojana, beneficiaries of PM Swanidhi scheme, will be given the entrepreneurship training. Given the entrepreneurship training. Now, what is the PM Swanidhi? So PM Swanidhi scheme was launched by the government in 2020 to provide the working capital loan to the roadside vendors, etc. Now, what government is doing? Government is giving these PM Swanidhi beneficiaries that training in entrepreneurship. So they will be given comprehensive entrepreneurship training, fine, so that they become job provider rather than the job seekers. They will be reskilled, upskilled. So there will be a 22 weeks program which will give theoretical knowledge as well as practical knowledge with respect to entrepreneurship. It will be conducted offline, online, hybrid mode. And Flipkart will be the government's partner. Flipkart will be the government's partner. Okay. Initially, street vendors in 10 big cities will be trained. Okay. Next, Paruveta Festival. Paruveta Festival. Now, Paruveta Festival is in news because Indian National Trust for Art and Culture Heritage, INTAC, it is working that UNESCO recognizes the Paruveta Festival. Fine, UNESCO recognizes the Paruveta Festival. Okay. Now, what is this Paruveta Festival? So, guys, when we talk about the Paruveta Festival, it is a mock hunting festival. Mock hunting festival where the hunting activity will be imitated. And this particular festival, it is celebrated across Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, but most notably it is celebrated in Andhra Pradesh. Now here what happened, local deities will be featured, cultural performance will be done, rituals will be done, gatherings will be there. And this particular festival, it is celebrated around the Vijayadashmi or Sankranti period. Now actually guys, what happened during this particular, Paruveta festival, what will be done? So basically, deities from the temple, they will be taken out from the inner sanctum. Okay, from the inner sanctum of the temple, the deities will be taken, and they will be taken to 32 Chenchu tribal villages around the Ahobilam town. Around the Ahobilam town. So Ahobilam town is there. Fine. So these particular deities will be taken to the Chenchu tribal villages. Okay. Now, actually, guys, the tribals, what they will do? They will start their spiritual journey with shooting two arrows at the palanquin. Okay. Now, basically, guys, it is believed that the Lord Vishnu incarnated as Narsima avatar. Fine. And when he incarnated as Narsima in the Ahobilam, fine, of Andhra Pradesh. This is the reason that around Ahobilam these particular celebrations, festivities are held. Here he married Mahalakshmi, who was reborn as a tribal girl named Chenchu Lakshmi. So in the Chenchu tribe she was born. So for all these particular things, this particular festival is celebrated. This particular festival is celebrated. Okay. Now, when we talk about the intact, so intact is pursuing UNESCO to recognize the Paruveta festival so that the Paruveta festival can be globally promoted. Okay. Now, this particular festival is celebrated by which tribe? It is celebrated by the Chenchu tribe. And where the Chenchu tribe lives, they lives in the Andhra Pradesh, and some of the communities of Chenchus are also found in Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and Odisha, but largely they are found in Andhra Pradesh. And they largely speak which language? They'll speak the Chenchu language, which belongs to the Dravidian family. Dravidian family. So this is, guys, all about it. Beyond that, no need to go more than this. So that is all. Now moving to the next one. So for mapping, today we are going to see the Amazon rainforest. So basically, guys, you might be knowing about the anaconda snake, which we are hearing from our childhood as the largest snake. So basically, what has happened? One expedition of National Geographic, they have visited Amazon forest and have reclassified the anaconda. Earlier, anaconda was believed to be a single species, but now anaconda has been divided in two. That is a southern green anaconda and the northern green anaconda. Okay, so here you can see that southern and northern green anaconda are different. So we are going to see about the Amazon rainforest. So guys, when we talk about the Amazon rainforest, they are the largest tropical rainforest and spans the 9 South American countries. Okay. And their indigenous people live in harmony with the forest nature. And they are also called as the lungs of the world. And it is very important to protect them from deforestation, mining, climate change. So just what we need to see the 9 countries for the mapping point of view, which shares the Amazon forest. So here guys, here you can see that what are these 9 countries? Okay. So we are going to start from the north. Venezuela. Fine. Here you can see Venezuela is there. Then Guyana is here. Then Suriname is there. Then French Guiana is there. Okay. So just you can take the screenshot also if you want. Again, I will repeat. There is Venezuela, there is Guyana, there is Suriname, there is a French Guiana. Then there is Brazil. Then there is Bolivia. Then there is Peru. Then there is Ecuador. And then there is Colombia. So these are the 9 countries which share the Amazon They are called as the lungs of the world, and it is the biggest tropical forest. Okay, and anaconda is found in these particular forests. So that is all, guys, about it. And with this, we come to an end to this particular session. And guys, we every day are trying to make this particular session more and more relevant for you. If you are liking our efforts, please do hit the like button. Please do subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much, and download these notes from our Telegram channel. Thank you so much.